SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the opening line show that we do every Monday with Joe Duffy from Offshore Insiders, where we just give our first general thoughts on the opening lines that have recently come out on the NFL card. We're looking ahead right now to NFL Week 5. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us this week.
Thank you, Peter. Let's continue to make some money.
All right, before we look at these opening lines, give a little plug for OffshoreInsiders.com because you've definitely earned it. You're coming off another week, 3-1 in NFL and college with us. You're 10-4 against the spread overall in our videos, and I know you're having a great year at your site, so give a plug for OffshoreInsiders.com.
Yes, Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com. Don't get thrown off by the fact that we're also one of the most inexpensive. My theory all along is I want to appeal to as many people as possible, the small player and the large player. And we've had people that have been with us literally since last century. Some people go back to the 1980s. Score phones with Joe Duffy's picks, the anchor of OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, let's look at these opening lines for NFL Week 5. First, let me just ask you, are there any lines that have jumped out at you that think might move significantly by kickoff?
I actually had quite a few. I think that the public's going to bet Kansas City. The public, as a general rule of thumb, they like to bet road favorites. Obviously, the Chiefs, they're undefeated now. They haven't played the world's toughest schedule, but especially with Jake Locker out, Ryan Fitzpatrick more than competent as a backup quarterback. But if you'll remember in my videos before the season started, I said I'm going to keep a close eye on Locker to see if this is finally going to be his breakout year. I think the public will definitely bet the Chiefs. The Jaguars are so pathetic, as bad as the Rams are. Still think the public will bet the Rams lineup. Seattle, Indianapolis. Seattle's played as well as any team has in the NFL. The Colts are very good, but the public is in love with Seattle. There are three. There's a couple other lines I expect to move, but they're probably the first three that really jumped out at me. Seattle, I think the public will bet. They'll bet Kansas City, and they'll more so not so much bet the Rams, but against Jacksonville. Yeah, those were actually some of the games that I wanted to ask you about. And for my Kansas City, I have a note here. Public will jump on KC, question mark. You know they're going to be all over KC. We might see some reverse line movement. You know, if we see the public huge on KC, but then we see the line go down to like, Tennessee +2 or +2.5, that'll mean the Sharps are on Tennessee, right? Yeah. You think that's likely to happen, or you think the Sharps will stay off this game? No, I think if anything, the Sharps will stay off of this game because, as I said, Fitzpatrick, pretty good quarterback, but whether or not the Sharps will come back to Tennessee, I do have my doubts because it's just a bad time for this injury to happen, just when things started to look up for the Titans.
All right, and then let me ask you just your first thoughts about this game, right? Philly +2.5 at the Giants. I mean, these are two teams. A lot of people probably looking at this game like, I don't even know what to think. The Giants are just dysfunctional, just abysmal. Don't even know why this is happening to them. I mean, are they really that bad? And then Philly, obviously the offense, they're putting up a lot of points. They're not getting wins. Giants -2.5. What do you make of this matchup at all? First thoughts.
Yeah, no, in that game, I would definitely lean towards the Giants, and I think that the public will agree with me, and certainly the sharp money. The Eagles are legitimately that bad. I wasn't a big fan of the Chip Kelly hiring. I don't think this offense is sustainable. The Giants, we know, are much better than they've shown. So when you got two slumping teams, I like to go with the better team, and I do think that the Giants are the better team, and they will take out their frustrations on the inferior team, and I think that the sharp money will agree with me.
Okay, and then there's two sides I want to ask you about. Both, I think we will see some sharp action by the end of the week. Both big road underdogs. Houston at San Francisco. San Francisco, they had a great game last week against the Rams, but is that really indicative of how they can play against top teams in the NFL? I think that this line will probably close 6.5 with sharp money on Houston +7. And then the Jets on Monday night +8.5. I think that, the line goes down. I think that it closes maybe at 7. What do you think?
Now, I would actually agree with you on both of them. The public always overreacts to what happened the week before. Houston, they blew a lead yesterday, but the Sharps like to bet on inconsistent teams to be inconsistent. And this is the type of circumstance where Houston, they've been through the past couple of years an inconsistent team. I do look for them to bounce back. San Francisco, I still have my doubts about them. Harbaugh caught a great game last week to get Kaepernick's confidence back, but I do think this game will be much closer. So, yeah, I would expect the public to bet the underdog. And the Falcons, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you there. The Falcons are reeling, but they've lost to 3 quality teams, 3 quality quarterbacks. Now they have a chance to take out their frustrations on an inferior team, and they need a blowout win. So if anything, I think that the line could go up. And in fact, I had seen the line as high as 9.5 some places. So if you want to say the line's 9.5, it could go down. But you said you saw some 8s out there. I think it'll be right around 9.
And then one other game, talking about, the public overreacting to what happened last week. The Pats, small road underdog, easily got the win and cover. Brady, great game. And against Cincinnati, Dalton obviously looking like he's not a reliable quarterback right now. You think the public comes in on the Pats here?
Yeah, most definitely. The Pats are finally starting to gel, where Tom Brady and his young wide receivers are starting to gel a little bit. Cincinnati, they've always been overrated. They're kind of a mess there. Another poorly coached game yesterday. So, yeah, I do think the public is definitely, that is a great point. The public will definitely pounce all over New England now that they're finally starting to look like they can blow teams out. They've been winning ugly all year, but they've been winning. The bottom line is, in Cincinnati, I've never been a big believer in Marvin Lewis and the Bengals. So you are 100% right there.
All right, I think that just about does it. Before we let you go, are there any other games that caught your eye that you think are interesting that we haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, the public has actually kind of finally started to jump on a sharp theory for years about teams going east to west. Carolina, a so-so team, makes the long travel across the country to Arizona, and they're a road favorite. I think there is a rare exception where the line will go down. Both the public and the sharp money will probably bet the home underdog. San Diego, Oakland, as you know, I'm a fan of Terrell Pryor. Is he going to come back healthy? If he is likely to play, and I would think that he is because he was a last-second scratch last week, and there was some, politics involved with his concussion because it wasn't handled that well the week before. I think he will play. If he's listed as probable, the line will go down. So I think if you want Oakland, you might want to bet them right now because you're not going to be getting as many points if he's announced as probable, and I think he will play.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on Oakland. I have a note here. Sharp's going to bet Oakland. I think so. I think that line probably closes at 3.5. The Carolina game, though, that's interesting. Yes, they're going west, but they're also off of a bye. So doesn't that sort of mitigate some of the deleterious effects of that kind of travel?
No, in fact, I'm glad that you did mention that. I always say that a bye benefits teams that need it. When teams are playing well, and Carolina is coming off a pretty good game, their bye came at the worst time. And it came early in the year. I don't think any team wants to have a bye early in the year. When you're coming off of a good quality effort, that's when you don't want to bye. When you want to buy is maybe late in the year when you're struggling. So no, I don't think that that's in any way going to neutralize the travel at all.
All right, what about the teams traveling to play Carson Palmer quarterback teams, though? Isn't that just always a bet on situation?
Yeah, well, it's funny that, like I said, I've always been somebody who liked to go against Carson Palmer, but if anything, the odds makers are no longer overrating him the way that they used to. I said that maybe, if anything, he had gone from overrated to underrated. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but no, I think the odds makers finally have stopped overrating him anyway.
All right. All right, we will see where the action comes in on that one. I have to admit, I'm still leaning towards Carolina at -2, but we'll see where the line moves. Thanks so much, Joe Duffy. Talk to you again next Monday.